talked for a long time yesterday. It's not easy to stand up here for 10 hours and then go over there and talk another 2. I hope so. Where did Ananda go? Okay, I'll wait on this then. I'll wait on this. So how many people have looked up President Trump's second Declaration of Independence?
I tried. I couldn't find it.
We took pictures of the original parchments on the hood of a car. Yeah, not the best way to do things. And I sent them to some people, and one of them tried to transcribe it and type it out. And of course it's in script, right? So it's hard to read. And then to top it off, picture number 30 was hard to read. It was blurry. And so when you, first of all, working off photographs from an iPhone and then getting a picture that's terribly blurry, it was very hard to try and transcribe. And then we got 2 or 3 other people that work with me to try and check it for errors and correct errors. And I'm sure we still don't have it perfectly right. But how many people would like to hear it? So these are the photographs of the original parchment, if you can kind of see them. So there's just page after page after page of them. He's a little wordier than our first founding fathers. So I'll do my best. I'm going to steal that chair and bring it over. And the reason I want to read it to you, and I know reading is a little bit hard, but the reason I want to read it to you is because I want you to understand how important the government of the United States of America is.
Let me pull this away so we don't hear you breathing.
That's better. Thank you. Can you still hear me? Okay. Good. Me and microphones, I'm telling you, it's bad. It always has been. All right. We retranscribed it on February 9th, 2021. I did not do all this work here transcribing it. I just sent the pictures off. Mark Bauman transcribed it first. He put it online, so it is there. It's searchable, findable. It's hard to find, but it's there. And hopefully we got most of it correct. Trusting our cause is just, and having prayed for the fortitude of brave spiritual wickedness in high places, we citizens of America make this announcement to the shareholders of the U.S. corporations, including the City of London, the British Crown, and the Vatican, and their operatives in the media, government, and society. A second Declaration of Independence by the 50 United States of America. With utmost respect and admiration for the founders of America and the framers of the original Declaration of Independence, the American people humbly emulate their thoughtful, measured response to certain perpetual and ascending tyranny and despotism. We too believe it is a moral obligation of those privileged with knowledge and opportunity to work on behalf of the people, that the people are served best when their benefactors choose unity over division, nationalism over globalism, sovereignty over submission, and liberty over oppression. That all human beings are equal in their innate value, that America was founded under God, and that our God-given rights may not be revoked, suspended, negated, or abridged without due process. What distinguishes the Second Declaration of Independence from its progenitor is the object from which we seek independence. Regrettably, to our great misfortune, shame, and dismay, and despite the recurrent warnings and accorded safeguards, a cabal of foreign investors and privateers have managed to gain possession of our land, our wealth, our labor, our well-being, our future, and even our children. Although history has become muddied with varied interpretations of cardinal events, including the surreptitious adoption of Second Corporate Constitution and uncertain ratification of several amendments that have been destructive to the people, it matters only that one or more alien groups lay claim to America and its asset. Rather than speculate on motives and weigh unprofitably to biased accounts, unverifiable information, and plenitous theories and opinions, we engage a perfect solution, wherein we exact independence from all claimants, past and present, proclaimed, identified, or veiled. As such, the usurpers named in this declaration are representative and not specific or exhaustive, regardless of supposed ancestry, preceded instrument, or process. Although simply enumerating transgressions and usurpations would suffice to justify insularity, recounting significant events reveals important facts that are missing from history. These forgotten facts add insight, perspective, and clarity, illuminating our best way forward. Number one, the inevitable Civil War destroyed America's economy, ripped families apart, and cast a questionable shadow on the future of a once promising nation. America was in trouble financially and needed a massive infusion of capital to get it back on its feet. A cabal of nation-building venture capitalists from Europe agreed to finance America's recovery, but demanded an active role in government to ensure their investment. In 1871, mired in debt, Congress worked out a partnership. In exchange for boundless financial support, the foreign investors handle America's administrative needs. Although initially it seemed to be an innocuous concession, the consequences of allowing the nation-building venture capitalists to conduct America's business beyond the protections of the U.S. Constitution proved catastrophic. The investors quickly embedded operations throughout the foreign-owned corporate government and Washington, D.C., and began serving the interests of America's financiers over the people. In 1871, America effectively lost its independence, and the nation-building venture capitalists became our new masters. By the early 1900s, the foreign investors that bankrolled America controlled the major newspapers and news services, enabling them to shape what is reported and how it is to be framed. They had to cover their tracks before being exposed and repudiated by the people. The nation-building venture capitalists worked to soften America's imperturbable, elevated system of government. The founders had formed a constitutional republic instead of a democracy, specifically to prevent citizens in the majority from oppressing those in the minority. By doing what is best for their districts or states rather than enforce the majority will, representatives serve all citizens equally, eliminating the noise, division, and violence intrinsic to democracies. Being in control of the narrative, the foreign investors, ingenious, promoted the fallacy that America is a democracy, trusting that the deception would lead to unrest and chaos, that world would make America vulnerable, creating additional opportunities for infiltration and manipulation. In 1913, the foreign investors established the Anti-Defamation League to slander anyone who exposed them and their infiltration into American politics. In 1913, by the way of the 16th Amendment, the foreign investors were granted the authority to tax the American people directly, something expressly prohibited by the original Constitution. that the people would willingly subject themselves to forced confiscation of their property and their labor is illogical, putting the legitimacy of ratification of that amendment in question. In 1913, by way of the 17th Amendment, the foreign investors breached an important safeguard that protected our constitutional republic from an infiltration of enemy forces. Previously, senators were statesmen appointed by the respective state legislators as a check on the House of Representatives, who were raiding the public treasury. Henceforth, senators would now run as glorified House representatives, reduced to promising free public money and services in exchange for votes. The authenticity of ratification is unlikely because the state legislators would not willingly surrender their authority to bridle the appetite of the people's house. Not would they accede to transfer more power to the federal government, opening yet another door for the international bankers to buy the influence they need to further their grip on America. In 1913, the foreign investors also gained control of our currency by pushing through Congress the Federal Reserve Act, establishing a foreign-owned central banking system despite the dire warnings of Presidents Thomas Jefferson, Andrew Jackson, Abraham Lincoln, Andrew Johnson, James Garfield, and William McKinley. The Federal Reserve Act passed with the help of compromised legislators between 1:30 a.m. and 4:30 a.m. on December the 22nd, when most members were away for their Christmas break. In 1920, Congress, by the way of the Independent Treasury Act, turned over the U.S. Treasury Department and its assets, our gold and silver, to the Federal Reserve, the central banking system owned by the foreign investors established in 1913. In 1921, the Council on Foreign Relations was formed under the cover of advancing America's interests in the world. In fact, the Council on Foreign Relations is sponsored by the City of London and serves to advance the interests of the foreign-owned Federal Reserve by direction the President, Congress, and the narrative through the operatives in the news and information networks. In 1925, the owners of the Federal Reserve formed the United States Corporation again. Just 5 out of the 100 shares issued were identified, with the balance of the shareholders of the U.S. corporation remaining anonymous. Yet the money hail leads to the City of London, the British Crown, and the Vatican. The tax dollars we send to the Internal Revenue Service go to the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, which are under their control. They do not go to the United States of America. President Trump said, "Quit paying your income taxes." The official formation of U.S. Corp set the stage for the transformation of America from a constitutional republic of the people to a corporation owned by foreign interests and their families. Over the next few years, the individual states were registered as corporations as well, making them franchises of the U.S. Corp. Representatives and senators neither represent nor work for the American people. Rather, they are managers of the U.S. Corp. And as such, they are obligated first to serve its best interests. The President is not just the President of America. He is the CEO of the U.S. Corp. The abbreviated term United States was purposely used to represent both America and the United States Corporation, to blur the distinction between them. Similarly, the original U.S. Constitution was quietly supplanted by an impostor, a corporate all-capital letters Constitution that bears a similar name and appearance, again to confuse and deceive the American people, specifically the Constitution for the United States of America was replaced by the Constitution of the United States. with the latter's corporate statutes becoming the supreme law of America. In 1933, the U.S. federal government declared bankruptcy, and President Roosevelt, its acting CEO, signed over to the U.S. Corp. America and its assets, including the people and our labor. The bankruptcy of 1933 that was arguably unnecessary, ceremonial in nature, and contrived and orchestrated without the consent of the people, completed the heist and transfer of America and its assets to the same foreign interests who own the U.S. corporation. In the bankruptcy of 1933, U.S. corporation forced the American people to surrender their gold and trade for debt notes called dollars, fiat currency that was not real, and that is depreciated continually through inflation to where it is worth just 4 cents today. The bankruptcy of 1933 put the U.S. corporation in a state of emergency, allowing it to implement admiralty law, made evident by the gold fringe around the American flag. When in a U.S. corporate courtroom, you are considered at sea and not just a citizen of America. In 1936, U.S. corporation began issuing Social Security numbers to turn otherwise sovereign Americans into trustees of corporate fictions, making our labor taxable, which would otherwise be unconstitutional. According to U.S. corporation, you are not a live man or woman, but rather a representation of a corporation in your name. In 1945, the anonymous owners of the U.S. Corp founded the United Nations under the guise of spreading peace, civility, and humanitarian assistance throughout the world. Yet the true purpose is to condition citizens to recognize an international authority, a first step in establishing their promised New World Order, in which the U.S. Constitution is retired to make room for a universal totalitarian government. United Nations publication Agenda 21 and Agenda 30 clearly reveal the New World Order agenda, calling for the end of nationalism, patriotism, private property, individual rights, the two-parent family, automobiles, air travel, and the right to defend ourselves from a tyrannical government. In keeping with their goal of sustainable development, they plan to reduce the population by over 90%, ridding America and the world of dissidents and useless eaters. Just breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. The remaining useful servants are to live in coastal communities wherein they will be stacked and packed into micro apartments. Portland, Oregon, just issued permits for their first gigantic development of micro apartments. These things are smaller than a hotel room. Micro apartments, stacked and packed. They're testing it in Portland.
In China, they call them coffin homes.
Coffin homes,
It's
yeah.
Your toilet, your kitchen, your bed, everything is all in one little cube. And it's so depressing.
That's the prison cell.
I love the reactions of you guys. Thank you. All right, number 21. The only thing standing in the way of their New World Order is a strong, prosperous, and secure America. To achieve their goal of world domination, America must lose its sovereignty and leadership position, and thus why the owners of the U.S. Corp quietly work to undermine our culture, systems, beliefs, standards, aspirations, and morals for the past 100 years, employing unrestrained methods and tactics. With millions of dollars at their disposal every year from taxing our labor, quit paying your taxes. The owners of U.S. Corp fund leftist nonprofit groups, including the Council on Foreign Relations, that work to subvert our nation and silence anyone in opposition. They integrate the officials and administrators who run the largest charities and organizations, including the AMA. found it interesting that was the first one he mentioned. Just the order of which he mentioned them. Okay, the AMA, the APA, the CDC, the FCC, the SEC, and the FDA, and they embed operatives in the State Department, the Department of Justice, the intelligence agencies, official and covert, including inside the NSA, the FBI, and the CIA. In trade for generous grants and endowments, the anonymous owners of the U.S. corporation shape the curriculum and political sentiment of the public schools, colleges, and universities, ensuring the next generations, our children, harbor disdain for their own country, their history, their culture, their families, and even their ethnicity. Get them out of school. Another thing I want to back up and tell you a little story. Council on Foreign Relations. This story bothers me a little bit. This young lady, 27 years old, a beautiful news reporter, was interviewing a gentleman in front of the Council on Foreign Relations building in New York. And she was interviewing this gentleman, and she had just a cameraman, her microphone, talking to him and interviewing back and forth. And Hillary Clinton and John Kerry walked out of the corner of the parking garage door where they park underground, walked along the front of the sidewalk to the front doors of the building, and just probably without anyone noticing on either side, Hillary says, "Come on, John, I'll show you where the real White House of the world is." And she opens the door and they walk in. 3 days later, the news reporter had put it on YouTube, and 3 days later, her body was found floating in the Hudson River. Okay? All right. The anonymous owners of the U.S. Corp keep the people in the dark about the true history of America. The greatest heist and cover-up in history by controlling public education, the major publishers, the news services, the airwaves, and the social and information networks. The foreign owners of U.S. Corp prop up puppets throughout society and government, allowing them to make millions of dollars in trade for perpetrating their agenda of secrecy and subjugation of America. These traders include prominent politicians, newsreaders, pundits, authors, movie stars, and the heads of social news and information networks, major sports teams, music and entertainment industries, and corporate conglomerates responsible for over 90% of the products designed, manufactured, advertised, purchased, financed, and consumed in America. 90% of our products. Yeah. When the CEO of Pepsi gets on the news and says, "I wouldn't let any of my children and grandchildren drink my products," you know something's off, right? All right. By the way of funding campaigns and fixing elections, the owners of U.S. corporate obligate the most influential politicians to further their agenda of breaking America socially and financially. They promote disdain for our country, dependency on government indulgence, lawlessness and immorality to spoil and dishearten its citizens, predisposing them to trade their sovereignty for the false promises of an international unelected government sponsored by the world elite. By the way of the Democrat Party and operatives posing as television hosts, entertainers, journalists, pundits, and policy experts, the owners of U.S. corporation brainwash and condition the people to accept invalid arguments and pseudoscience that call for globalism, socialism, and a godless society in which terminology is our moral compass. The operatives of the foreign-owned U.S. Corp are deeply rooted throughout the news and information networks, academia, government, and society, colloquially referred to as the deep state, the shadow government, and the swamp. The operatives perform with a high mind because they are guilty of treason, a crime punishable by death. They are desperate to hide their complicity, and thus they systematically target, demonize, and even suicide all who threaten to expose their treachery and malfeasance. The operatives of the U.S. Corp favor unbridled immigration because it is the most expedient way to destroy the country from within. Flooding America with illegal immigrants without allowing them time to assimilate ensures arrogance, separation, and anti-Americanism, and anger, animosity, and conflict with the people. By design, we can also expect a steady dilution of the principles, ethics, and systems that made America successful. Moreover, the majority of illegal immigrants are ethics and systems. That is what's made America successful. The majority of illegal immigrants are likely to vote for Democrats who legislate according to the will of the foreign owners of the U.S. corporation, because they're paid a sizable sum, right? Because the free, open, and largely unrestrained internet secretly hides the hidden heist of America and the criminal network that operates in the shadows, the owners of the U.S. corporation, the perpetrators of crimes against American humanity are rightly concerned about exposure. To ensure that the people do not wake up, organize, and exact justice, they censor the information we see, ply us with prescription drugs, make us complacent with free money from government distract us with perpetual video games, and promote one meaningless sporting event after another. In conjunction with skewed statistics, deceptive polls, false facts, and the omission of decisive information, the owners of the U.S. Corp promote anti-Americanism and their New World Order agenda. Fake news keeps the people disoriented, misinformed, and divided over their ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, religion, and economic class. Meanwhile, their debt system enslaves us. Their grip ever tightens through surveillance and fluorination. Vaccinations and other technologies are deployed to weaken any substantive opposition. The owners of the U.S. Corp are working incessantly to disarm the millions of law-abiding patriots who stand in the way of their totalitarianism and oppressive New World Order. By the way of orchestrated mass shootings, the owners of U.S. Corp will continue to terrorize the people until we assent to comprehensive background checks. The word comprehensive is nebulous and undefined, allowing for a battery of psychological and medical testing that's ever expanding. Until targeted individuals are deemed emotionally unstable and a danger to society. True to the predictions of every futuristic book and movie, patriotic Americans will be disarmed by the way of political profiling under the guise of screening for mental health.
What did the Supreme Court just say yesterday?
You tell me. I was standing up here for 10 hours.
Something about California's bans on many things.
Yeah, they overrode them as unconstitutional. Yeah. I was told they were going to do that. I didn't know they did it yesterday. So, yeah. Okay, number 33. Through their vast indoctrination machine, the foreign owners of the U.S. Corp have convinced the American people that America is a democracy, and that democracy is the highest form of government. This is problematic because democracy is by definition mob rule. Democracies invariably fail because a majority mob always demands more and more public money and services procured through excessive taxation and other socialist-like policies, resulting in economic ruin, runaway debt, fiscal collapse, and ultimately social implosion, opening the door for the promised, predicted, dreadful, and ever-looming New World Order. Because sovereignty is not sustainable without exposing the ills of democracy and reestablishing our elevated constitutional republic, we are compelled to make the following proclamations. You see why I'm telling you guys the most single, most important thing you could do for America is change your status. Be the American, the Californian you were intended to be. Take back your birthright. Stop being the U.S. citizen under the corporate structure of the 14th Amendment. Okay? Single, most important thing you can do. And then go get your passports that reflect that status so that you have identification. So when the bottom of that passport is scanned, it shows you have limited diplomatic immunity by the Geneva Conventions. Okay? Incredibly important. Nothing more important than millions of us standing up and sending that to the Secretary of State of the United States. You know what kind of message that sends? They're processing so many of those, they can't even get them in. You can't get people to process them fast enough. That's what we want. We want the mail to pile up along the walls in the hallways of the State Department. Just send in your affidavits. Okay, enough preaching. It is Sunday. And it feels good when you do. Okay? All right. Because sovereignty is not sustainable without exposing the ills of democracy and reestablishing our elevated constitutional republic, we're compelled to make the following proclamations. The word democracy does not appear anywhere in the America's founding documents. Nowhere. Because the framers knew that democracy in any form or disguise is fatally flawed, leading invariably to oppression, unrest, societal failure, violence, and death. All modern forms of government are elected democratically. They differentiate only by those who make the decisions after the elections are over. In a democracy, citizens in the majority make the sales, leaving those in the minority oppressed. Consequently, a democracy is always noisy, divisive, divided, insufficient, unsteady, combustible, fiscally irresponsible, and short-lived. America was established as a constitutional republic. Those elected must not do the bidding of the citizen majority. Rather, they must do what is best for their district of their state, despite the majority will. In this way, all citizens are represented equally and no one is suppressed, making a constitutional republic quiet, steady, efficient, and preferred. Although the word democracy feels good, it is founded on mob rule, making it akin to socialism, communism, and every other tyrannical form of government. Finally, in Article QV, Section 4 of the U.S. Constitution resolves any doubt. The United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a republican form of government. Having exposed the greatest heist and cover-up in history, we are able to surmise America and its assets were quietly hijacked, and the cover-up has resulted in unthinkable crimes against the people and humanity. Allowing the hostile takeover to stand will lead eventually to complete and irreversible subjugation and a ratification of the truth, justice, and all that is good. This second Declaration of Independence distinguishes the United States of America from the subversive United States Corporation. It asserts that the U.S. Corp was formed illegally, that it is foreign-owned, that its shareholders have been quietly at war with America for more than 150 years. Treasonous operatives embedded within government and the fake news networks purposely divide the citizenry and facilitate conflict among the nations. To hide that U.S. Corp was formed illegally, that is foreign-owned, and that its shareholders have been quietly at war with America for the last 150 years. These treasonous operatives embedded within government and the fake news purposely divide the citizenry and facilitate conflict among the natives to hide that the U.S. Corp is and always has been the only real enemy of America. This second Declaration of Independence also repudiates with conviction the U.S. Corp's satanically inspired plan for world governments. In addition to being of, by, and for the elite and not the people, Their falsely advertised pseudo-utopian, unelected, totalitarian New World Order would supplant America's sovereignty and extinguish forever any semblance of liberty and prosperity. Because natural inclinations predispose human beings to be a little short-sighted, malleable, and easily bamboozled, one might presume the American people should bear the responsibility for being swindled out of their homeland, inherited from their forefathers who procured and secured, if at great expense and much sacrifice, and for slowly but steadily trading their largely unappreciated blessings of liberty, opportunity, and prosperity for trinkets in the form of unearned comforts, frivolous indulgences, and glutinous pleasures. However, the transfer of ownership from the American people was not conducted openly and with candor, but clandestinely, through calculated design and nefarious means, without body consent and unconstitutionally. It is for this latter reason that the American people claim their right to rectification, that the greatest heist in history was effected outside the constraints of the U.S. Constitution, and that those who were elected to represent America's best interests transgressed their fiduciary responsibility and exceeded their authority, warrants this proclamation: that the American people are the rightful owners of our land, our labor, our well-being, our future, our children, and for the benefit and the benefit of our posterity. As with any negotiated peace after years of atrocities committed by parties at war, we seek neither vengeance nor demand justice for past transgressions. God help me. I got to read this paragraph over and over to myself occasionally. Okay? It only took me the first time to believe it, but just to help my inner self elevate a little bit, I do need to read it, because as I continue with this paragraph, you're going to see why. In fact, I'm going to start over.
From the beginning.
No. No. As with any negotiated peace after years of atrocities committed by parties at war, we seek neither vengeance nor demand justice for past transgressions. The simply adjure the return of what rightly belongs to the people, and avow firmly, emphatically, publicly, and officially that America shall forever remain a sovereign nation, free, self-directed, and not affiliated or dependent upon any version or variation of the present planned or innovated New World Order. We entreat a bloodless solution, wherein you cease all destruction activities, including false flag events, dissolve the U.S. corporation and other illicit legal structures and custodial instruments, return our land and assets, including our gold and silver, redirect the tax collected on our labor back to America, and have your deep state and the shadow government operatives retire, withdrawing your influence in an orderly fashion so that society continues to thrive in trade for you keeping your wealth, your position, and your heads. I think he was pretty darn clear right there. In response to questions regarding legitimacy, efficacy, and process, throwing off the shackles of natural thraldom is elementary and unambiguous, as evidenced by the separation of the 13 colonies from Britain in 1776 and the Mexican people from Spain in 1825. A formal declaration hailed by authorized representatives procures independence that is immediate, whole, consummate, infrangible, and unencumbered by obligation, condition, or imposition. As we enter grievous territory, we reflect on the precarious roads our forefathers forged when they judiciously severed the political and familial ties that bound them, Our hearts also are filled with melancholy and trepidation, yet we too are resolute in our posture and positions from being confronted with no better option. Despite the manifest peril, the consequences of acquiescence are graver still, compelling us to claim solemnly our independence once again. So in support of this declaration, with its firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. The 56 signatories, or the task force, are affixed at the time of presentation to Congress, the President, the 50 state legislators, and the governors of the respective states. That was a lot to read.
What's the name of this that you just read?
What's that?
What's the name of this?
The second Declaration of Independence. President Trump and 56 signatories on July the 4th of last year.
And all the governors have it. When was it done? When was it brought to, when did they do it? What was the date on that?
4th of July, 2020. Fuck, you ask me now. Whatever I said. Would you like to make that announcement?
Oh, sure. Thank you. Thank you.
Second, President Trump's second Declaration of Independence is on DuckDuckGo. I found it.
Yep.
Yay. So, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hello, everyone. I wanted to share with you, and many of you may have heard of this. It's called the Clear Phone. And the Clear Phone, a lot of patriots and a lot of Christians are excited about this phone because you will get away from 5G, and you will also get away from the invasive CCP. This is a privately owned new technology. The company is debt-free, and it's an opportunity for all of us to share with each other, reduce our phone bills. An average phone bill is about $40 a month. So don't just run from the big corporations, which we're trying to get away from. We don't want to support them anymore.
Right.
Verizon is Luciferian satanic. If any of you know about Ty and Charlene Bollinger, they created Vax. They sent out a massive text to everyone informing them about the poisons and the dangers and adverse reactions of vaccines. Verizon went in and cut their communication so that they couldn't get the word out and they couldn't get the truth out. So if you want to learn more about it, please come see anyone here at our table, and we can share with you about this new phone and a technology. They use a Samsung, or like a Samsung. It's an Android. It's an Android. So if you're addicted to your iPhone, like I'm addicted to my iPhone, there might be some learning curves, but I'm already signed up, and I just want to encourage everyone. Oh, this is cool too. You have absolute privacy. So instead of offering a social security number, you don't have to offer really anything. And they will assign, you don't even have to offer your name. They will assign you a 12-word code.
You make up the 12 words.
Oh, okay, yes. So you can make up the 12 words. And rather than all of your information right now being stored in the cloud, they have a technology called sharding. So it literally obliterates your information into tiny little specks of invisible dust, let's say. And they have their own operating system, and they also have a blockchain currency that they're creating. So we can exchange with other patriots and Christians that are God-loving and freedom-loving.
You have a website?
They manufacture their own phones, and then again, on the break, you can come talk to us, and we can put the information up. And it's also a private membership association, so it's not like a Dun and Bradstreet thing, okay?
Okay. Manufacturers. So can you have your information transferred from this phone to that phone, or how does that work?
Yes, you can. They do, in the beginning, they teach you how to transfer I believe it's your SIM card. I'm still learning, so we can all learn together, but I'm just very excited about it.
What if you have some technology, you buy your phone, and then you call somebody who has an iPhone? What about the information? Is it encrypted, or is
It's like proton mail. Clear phone to clear phone is the only thing that's secure.
But within it, they have the Clear Signal app, which the Signal app that already a lot of iPhones use, you can use that to communicate to other people who are using the iPhone. But their software is encrypted.
And as far as I know, but Dr. Carrie Madej also endorses this phone. She's really big against technology and the invasion of technology in our bodies, because part of their criminal acts is not only injecting us with operating systems through their crystalline technologies, which are not vaccines. So she's a strong endorser of this phone as well. That's Dr. Carrie Madej.
how much are they?
3 different prices. The phone that I have there is $4.99 only.
Okay,
It works just like a Samsung Android.
okay.
And the next one is $8.99, and the next one is $12.99.
That's a cheap.
$12.99 is about this big.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
There's three monthly, 40, 60, and 80, depending on how much room you need. And I just got the 40. It works beautifully.
Did you have a tablet as well?
I don't know. I didn't see it yet. So
What
you
was
can
your-
go on the website and do it. We're going to put the links up here. And then just go on the website. They've got about 25 videos. And you can ask the questions. And then they have meetings every Tuesday and Thursday night at different time zones around, I think this time is at around 5 o'clock. And it's very informative. And then you can also talk to the CEO of Clearphone and ask him directly questions.
Can you keep your phone number?
Pardon me?
Can you keep your phone number?
Yes. You can have a new phone number that they'll give you, or you can keep your other phone number, whichever one you want.
How's the network? Is it pretty?
It is expensive, and they have their own
Please tell your feelings about
their own apps.
being a state
However,
national.
if you choose,
You want to
can
tell your
pull
story?
apps from Google, if you want, and put them on the phone as well. It's really fascinating. It's really good. It's the first step of getting away from big tech. Because as you know, Google and company, they steal your information, sell your information, spy on you, and put you on a list, depending on what you're talking about. They
May I
are
make a public
absolutely
announcement
against
less than 60
5G.
seconds?
They're remaining 4G.
Yeah, let's do it right before the break.
Okay.
That's right.
It's out. First of all, I have a question on that. Application separate is great because it keeps us from Google. But if you go to Google, aren't you opening yourself up now?
That's why I said it the way I said it. If you want to do that and take your information from your Google phone, you can ask him what happens with that, the possibility. For me, I ain't doing it. Nobody's knowing. The good news about it, since it's a 12-word sign up, your name doesn't appear. So if they say that Clark Mangelsdorf, I want all his phone records, they're going to look and go, we don't have a Clark. Because it's a 12-word sign up. So, no. But don't lose it. Make it forget it.
That's the whole thing. Big time. You know, so you can create your own servers, your own network, your own system. It's obviously very expensive, but if you're in that world, you're not. Pretty cool. If you're in
We'll put it up on the board anyway, so.
It's just AmericansInAction.us.
Okay, yeah, just write it down. Anywhere you want. So the website is AmericansInAction.us. Okay? And I'm going to caution you, you guys, the website is AmericansInAction.us. AmericansInAction.us.
And you can fill in the inquiry form, and then one of us will contact you to share with you about it, so you can learn about it. Any and all of your questions, we will make sure they get answered. So we have these amazing friends up in Oregon City, and they have a healing studio. They do chiropractic and all sorts of natural healing. They put this amazing sign on their door, and this is what it says. It's got the stop, right? Please be advised, to assure the safety of our staff and existing members, Total Integrated Therapy, PMA, will not be accepting new members who have taken the experimental vaccine. This decision has been made in consultation with our insurance company, as well as health professionals. The unknown health effects of the mRNA vaccine are not covered by our liability. And also, we had to take into consideration reported side effects such as viral shedding, seizures, and death. We apologize for any inconvenience and will reevaluate our policy when clinical trials of the experimental injection are completed in 2023. Thank you. Yes. On that note, if this interests you, I can email you the printout, the PDF for this, so you can print it out. We only have a few here, but feel free to come up and take a picture of it. Just take a snapshot, okay? Yay. Thank you. Yes, please. Yeah, please. Thank you. Thank you. And that help. Like a ventriloquist
You're
doll.
going to have to bend it to you.
This is a new Android couple.
I feel like I'm a ventriloquist doll, and he's gonna start going like this in my back. I wanted to share with everyone my experience. I feel like this is a celebration, and I wanted to share this celebration with you. I've taken this is my 4th DavidStraight seminar, and it really resonated with me. When I first saw him on YouTube, I sat up so straight in my spine. I felt surges of energy going through my spine, and I said, this indicates. I don't know what this is, but I have to find out what this is. And since I was 15 years old, I had a voice, and it was loud, and it felt like God, so it's God. God says to me, go to the road of Genesis. So I'm fumbling around through my life. I'm basically doing this mantra, go to the road of Genesis, go to the road of Genesis. I'm thinking, what does this mean? And I looked in different places, and I tried to read the Bible, and I wasn't very biblical, so it wasn't making any sense to me. And then I think it was the second DavidStraight seminar I had, and he said, I want you to open up your Bible, and I want you to go to Genesis. And I almost had like a cathartic release of this was the missing link that I have been looking for, because you all know the law because God wrote it in your heart. And the only reason why the law exists is for the lawless. And because they are not self-policing, now it's up to us to not only be the police of ourselves, but to be the police of others, which is a crappy situation to be in because none of us want to do it. And now we look like the jerks for calling them out. But they've trespassed against us, and it's okay for us to stand. We have permission. It's full permission slip from God, right? So he says, I want you, rather than to read the Bible like I was trying to read it and understand it, he said, I want you to read it like a trust indenture. I said, oh my God, ding, ding, ding. So I've been really embracing this process. And when I did that, I said, it's a lot of information. Someone said yesterday, what about the affidavit? We're afraid of the affidavit. I was afraid of the affidavit. It's not the affidavit that's so scary. It's the affidavit process and all the work and the mountains, and you think you have to learn and know everything. No, you don't. All you need to do is take the next step and trust God. And take the next step and trust God. And that's it. Let go, let God. So with all this amazing journey I've been on, yesterday I went down and I filed my repudiation for my citizenship. And he has been a guiding light. But he didn't do it for me. He didn't do it for me. We each have to be our own heroes. And that's what Jesus taught us, right? Right? Because you've got a head with a brain, and you can do it. Because we were equipped with this in our hearts. So I just wanted to share this celebration because I'm now a free woman. By the grace of God go I, and by the grace of God go all of you. And I just want to say thank you because it was a really big, exciting, life-changing moment for me. And you're all here, and I feel very supported and loved, and I love you all and support you all. Thank you.
You know, the feeling you get when you actually do that is so amazing. I used to walk around for 10 years, for a decade, thinking I was the only free man in America. Well, in a way, but it's a little lonely too. It'd be nice to have all of you free with me. And it's kind of crazy when you finally realize. And I travel around a lot, and I remember going to China. I remember going to China right after I became an American State National for the first time. And I went over there, and I walked into the airport and up to, where they check you out a lot. And I walked up and I handed them my passport. And I remember so clearly them just scanning my passport, and they looked at me, and their eyes got big, and people came out of nowhere. I don't even know where the hell they come from, out of doors, out of walls. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, I'm going to China prison. That's what I thought. It was exactly the opposite. They wouldn't even let me touch my bags from there on out. They carried them for me. They said, do you have a hotel? Have you arranged ground transportation? Do you need a train ticket? They escorted me through the hotel so I didn't get lost. They showed me where the bathrooms were, where to get something to eat, and they bought my food. Never heard of that before. I'd never heard about that before. They actually brought over a police officer, and in China they don't even wear guns. They're Barney Fifes like you never seen them before. Really. And they don't even wear guns. And they guided me down to the trade station because I told them I'm going to Nanjing, and I landed in Shanghai, right? So they set me on this train in a lounge chair and put my feet up, hand me drinks. And those trains are magnetic. And they're fast. And you don't even feel it. You sit in that lounge chair, and you lean back, and you put your feet up, and there's a little sign up at the front of the car, and the train takes off, and it says 0, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 300 kilometers per hour. And you're going, oh man, this is like freaking cool. And you look out the window and the trees are going, incredible. Absolutely incredible. Man, if we had those in the United States, I would have just zipped on down here on one. Been here in about 20 minutes. Yeah. It was just absolutely an incredible experience, but how I was treated was unreal. I get to Nanjing, and I walk up to the hotel, and he says, in China, we have to see your travel document. I said, okay, that means passport in Chinese. I hand him my passport. He go, oh, you top 4. Top 4 suite. Yeah. Yeah. It's just incredible how I was treated. And I thought, I wasn't treated that way last time I came here on a citizen passport. What's the difference? Yeah, it was funny. Funny to me, and it hit me really hard, and it was interesting. And it's kind of nice to see. Guys, we got to be careful who we support, what corporations we support. Verizon holds its Mulak Festival every year. Do you know who Mulak is, right? A devil god. Google was created by the Central Intelligence Agency, and then they got a couple of guys named Sergey Brin and what was the other one? I just had it a minute ago. Gone. Anyway, they got a couple of guys from Silicon Valley to run it, but it was CIA owned, CIA funded. Okay, that's how it got started. Well, their operating system was Adreno. Their browser system is Chrome. You understand what you're supporting with Google. All you guys with Gmail, get rid of it. Stop using Google for your search engines. Don't pay any attention. You're supporting the devil. You're supporting child torture. Not just trafficking, torture. Sacrifice. Know who you're supporting. Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and 5 different water companies, several city water systems. Oh, I got the intelligence report more than a year and a half ago that they were putting nanobots in those products. Nanobots. There's a good chance every one of you have nanobots in you. And if you take the vaccines, you'll also have nanobots. This is why they're showing right after a vaccine, you put a magnet and it attaches to your shoulder. You've seen the videos? That's right. Well, high alkaline diet helps because alkaline just corrodes them to death. I'm going to suggest shock therapy. That's what the intelligence agencies do. They shock you until they die. Hey, you know, put your feet in water. See what happens. No, but some TENS therapy will help. Okay? Some TENS therapy will help. Oh, it's just mind-boggling, really, all the crap. Yes, I am.
I'm not trying to be adversarial here, but I work with the mind. My pastor can tell you.
Mm-hmm.
And the kind of work I do, if they've had shock therapy, it won't work.
It depends on the shock therapy.
Well, are you talking about going to the hospital?
No. I don't talk about going to AMA for anything. You got to understand that right off the bat. I don't go to doctors, hospitals, or anything.
So what kind of shock therapy?
A TENS unit. The TENS units. Put them where your blood vessels travel, close, and just do it over and over again. What it does is it just stops them. It kills the little micro things in them that I'm not an expert in this. I'm just telling you that's what we've been told to do by our intelligence agencies, so we survive. Okay? No, it is. It's totally harmless. Yeah, I'm not talking about the kind they used to do in the mental hospitals. Or good pun. Good pun. All right. Go ahead.
We have a guy up in Nevada County who she does frequency work with people because you get nanobots. Because you get nanobots from the chemtrails as well. And so he has you put your feet in water, and then he has a. I probably shouldn't say this in public, but he has a rife machine.
Yeah. Rife machine.
So he says that this will so he neutralizes the nanobots that are in your body, and then he puts a different frequency where they drain out. And I actually have seen little sparkle things in the water. So he says that this is how you get rid of them.
I held up a water bottle the other day. It was yesterday or the day before, and I held up a water bottle, and you know how they're kind of a star shaped on the bottom? Yeah. I don't know if it was this brand or not, but I held up a water bottle. No, I don't see them in this one. But it was very clear. You could see silver particles in the bottom that had settled. Yeah, they're nanobots. Hold on a minute, guys. Shh. One at a time.
Natural metal detox is cilantro. And you go online and get the cilantro detox. It's a pesto you make. And you just eat that like 14 days, like a cracker, like a couple times a day. And that grabs all the heavy metal, lead, everything. And then there's also a stone called Miracle 2. Has anyone heard of it?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Miracle 2. That's a special soap that will
Oh,
I also heard about an alfalfa bath. When you soak in the alfalfa bath, you can black out the room and use a black light, and you'll see the glowing particles coming off of you. It's like the water should glow. And I'm not sure the recipe, but you could probably do a DuckDuckGo search to research a little bit more. I haven't tried it, but I've heard that there's an alfalfa bath that can help pull the crap out. So.
okay, right here. Does well, I'm sure it would. Yeah.
What about colloidal silver?
I love colloidal silver. I use it on my dogs and horses all the time. All their wounds, everything. I've used it on me a lot. Okay. Hold on, right there first. Okay. Go ahead. Guys?
You say that you don't want to go to the hospital for anything, so if you break a bone, if you have something
Well, yeah.
more serious thing, where would you go?
If I break a bone, I have to go to the hospital. That's obviously, but I'm going to try and go to a doctor that I trust to reset it. Okay. If I get a cut, well, I just sew them all up myself. I've got scars all over me. Look at me, man. I have scars everywhere. Okay. And I just sew them up in the field. So.
David, let me just say something. I know there are people.
Okay, listen, guys, listen up.
I know there are people here from all over the state and north here and whatnot, but if you're local, we have some wonderful Christian medical people, and that's Dr. Lisa. Dr. Lisa, will you stand up? She is a brilliant physician, and she's been put on probation by the medical community because she doesn't participate in the big pharma stuff. And
You're a rarity, sweetheart. Thank you.
Yeah, she's a real treasure. And her husband, Daniel, he runs a health clinic and a wellness center. And the therapy that you were talking about, he's a specialist at. He has thousands of dollars worth of
Awesome.
equipment.
Wonderful.
But this is what I want you to pray about. I mentioned this morning, that the promise of Scriptures, there's a great contest at the transitioning of the ages between good and evil. Obviously, the kingdom of God will prevail and be exalted over every other kingdom.
Yeah.
And so we're in the throes of that great struggle. But remember this, part of the promise of the transition into the eternal age, the millennial age, is Christ makes a proclamation, old things are passing away, and Christ is making all things new. Now, this is what we have to embrace, is the understanding that Hebrews 2:10, God's plan is to share his glory with many sons and daughters. Aren't you thankful that the Creator God is like that?
Yeah.
He wants to share his glory, his power, his wisdom with us. So the whole idea of Christ making all things new and everything that's been defiled by evil passing away, the passive great American religious enterprise, and thank God that's part of the old system that's passing away. But the idea is we just stare at our navels and hum Kumbaya until Jesus comes back and solves everything. That flies in the face of biblical Christianity. And so I just want you to meditate on this, pray into it, think about it. I think that clearly the plan of God is for us to be involved in the process of Christ making all things new. And we need a new governmental structure. What is that? It's the kingdom of heaven in the earth. And with medicine, we need to reinvent medicine. We need to reinvent,
politics, finances. There's no education. There is nothing that hinges on our life and well-being that doesn't need completely reinvented and reformatted in a way that is godly, or as David has used the term over and over again, righteous. Right. Which means that everything that is wrongous passes away. Anyway, so I wanted you. One of the things, we only have 40 acres here, but one of the things that we have envisioned, one of the many things, is to have a health clinic that honors God and is completely unhinged from Big Pharma.
This morning, Pastor Dave mentioned that about the leaves from the trees and the healing and all the natural. And people were talking about bats and different things, so I feel I would be remiss not to mention there's a product called Protandem, Protanddim. It's a mixture of ashwagandha, bacopa, green tea, milk thistle, and turmeric. The exact combination, they were able to get 12 U.S. and international patents. 30 universities have studied it. It lowers oxidative stress 40% in 30 days. And at the last Braden-free conference, one of the speakers said high oxidative stress is bad for the body. Yeah. And they are a publicly traded company on the NASDAQ, allowed to say 40% reduction in 30 days.
Okay.
It's Protanddim. It didn't start out that way. It's the only time a product started out on store shelves and ended up in the ugly brown paper bag of network marketing that a lot of people don't like. So see me after if you're interested.
Can you spell it one more time slower, please?
Thank you. Protanddim.
Okay. About 20 years ago, I decided corporations were evil. And I didn't decide it. I just found out. Okay? I didn't decide anything. God said, David, knock it off. These guys are evil. These guys are evil. So I started putting medical businesses like yours into private membership associations so we can kick government to the curb. Okay? And these medical associations that have done this, it makes a world of difference for them. Okay? Just tell the IRS where to go when you're all done. Okay? Government cannot regulate private membership associations. It says that in all their laws, statutes, everywhere. Okay? But don't allow most attorneys to set one up for you, because he will set you up in a private membership corporation, defeating the purpose of private altogether. Okay? Be very careful. You can't do a Google search for sure, or even a DuckDuckGo, and look up private membership associations, because the attorneys remove all the good information and they put all their crap on there and they destroy the basis in law of a PMA. PMAs are the most fantastic businesses that there are. All your customers, all your employees become members. They're members. And as members, nobody gets taxed on anything. Okay? Suggest doing that. And by the way, I really like your shirt. All right. Can you be a manufacturer? Well, there's certain occupations, and I'm not saying you can't, but there's certain occupations you got to be aware of. Contractors have a hard time being a PMA. Why does a contractor have a hard time being a PMA? Simply because of government advertising. Governments went in and said, don't hire an unlicensed contractor. So the public won't hire an unlicensed contractor. They sold them into that. Let me tell you something. A lot of the unlicensed contractors are better and easier to sue if something happens than a licensed contractor. Government just doesn't tell you that. They tell you the opposite. Yeah. Licensed contractors, they screw you out of everything and go bankrupt a lot of times. It happens all the time. Good job there, buddy. I was ready to dance. No, you don't want to see that. No, you just don't want to see that. No, got to have fun doing this anyway. All right, hold on.
I have a question on PMAs. I am a contractor, but I'm a good one.
I bet you are.
And we're set up as an 1120S corporation. So how does that work if we correct our status? Because it flows, do we just get rid of everything?
A state national is a state national. A citizen is a citizen. How you do business really is not affected that much, other than the fact that as a state national, we learn that certain things are not the way they should be. And the state attorneys talked you into some kind of a corporate structure so that you can go get a state license. Let me tell you something. Free men don't ask permission. Stop asking and be as king. Okay? Do you do a good job for your customers? Would your customers call you back regardless? That's right. See? Free market determines whether you stay in business or not. Okay? These wonderful doctors over here have a lot of good patients. If you weren't an S corporation or what, I don't know what you are, but if you weren't a corporation of some kind, would your patients still come back to you? Absolutely they would, because of you and your righteousness and your reputation.
But I tell you this, we should have done this, whatever you call it, because we've been approached. And she owns everything. It's California, so you might as well give it to the girl because she'll own it here. That's a joke. But anyway, I would love to talk to you about helping us do that, because we want to really impact this community.
Good.
Really impact it.
Good.
I think impacting this community right here, you could stand up so we can hear what you're saying. Whoever can hear you.
Yeah, you know, that's one of the problems with a room that's wide. If everybody was narrow, it'd be so much better. Wide rooms are tough, man. And it's, yeah, I like you close anyway. Okay? I just love all over you.
So if we set up the contracting business as a PMA, is that how you get out of this? Right? Am I getting it?
You are. You got to understand something. We only have 2 jobs in life. I say this over and over again. We got to correct the errors our public servants make and educate them so they don't do it again. And understand right now, we haven't been free in 150 years. President Trump even said that. Okay? We haven't been free in 150 years. Those compartmentalized legal idiots out there with OSHA and OLCC and the AMA and the state medical board or whoever you're dealing with, doesn't matter. They're all got their blinders on. They're looking at this book of policy. Rules, codes, statutes, ordinances, and policy aren't law. It's their policy. It's for employees of their business to follow. If you walk into Walmart as a customer, do you got to follow the Walmart employee's handbook? No. But see, as a citizen, government thinks you got to follow all their policies, rules, codes, and statutes because you volunteered. You volunteered to be a citizen, a person, or a resident. If you do, you need CPR because you're dead. I'm trying to create some living people in the room. Okay? There's a big difference. Okay, go ahead. I'll just work my way across.
If you own a home that has a mortgage, and you become a state national, and
When you get a land patent on your home with a grant deed, and you've done it right, and you followed through afterwards, and you've corrected the errors through the property tax issue that we talked about, okay? Once you do that, your mortgage company has an unsecured loan.
Will they close? I mean, if they think it's unsecured?
It's unsecured.
Yeah, I know, but will they?
They can't take your home from you. So what if you just declared bankruptcy and you went into the bankruptcy court using your credit? Remember when I did? Yeah, remember when I did the little T and the Cesta QV Trust and all that? Yeah, I can use the bankruptcy courts to my advantage because I'm the creditor. I can walk in as a creditor, not the debtor. I loaned the company the money, the mortgage company, my signature.
Does it teach that?
See, they just don't. They just don't. She was making a joke. They just laugh and you'll be okay. Yeah, they're the creditor. Okay, go ahead.
Topic change. I've had family lose a lot of property in Arkansas by Bill Clinton, and they declared it a... Would you stand up, please? You can't hear me from here?
My God, you can't hear him?
Does this solve the problem of property being seized and vehicles being seized through eminent domain?
Look, I learned about land patents in 2010. Had I learned about land patents in 2006, I wouldn't have lost $9 million in real estate. Do you think God doesn't do things to us to make us learn? Yeah. I didn't get here for nothing. I earned my way here, and it was expensive. Okay? It was expensive. I started into this because they took my kids. Okay? And I fought for them. I got them back very quickly, and I started helping other families. I started going to courts for other families. I started digging into the books and learning the law. I was already good at history and genealogy and other religion and other things. I got 5 useless college degrees. I call them useless because I've never used any one of them to earn a living. Okay?
I have a question about land. Okay, so David says it was good I was afflicted, that I might learn thy statutes. So that's what is kind of happening to us. That's how I see this experience with DCFS, that if I'm hurting that my daughter's taken, but if she wasn't taken, I would push further into this too. Right. So now for us who have, sent our affidavit of repudiation, we're worried about the passport process, like what to expect. I know it's in your drive, but you're right here, so.
Okay. Okay. All right. Since that's a little bit longer answer, let's let him ask one first, and then I'll get back to you.
Yeah. So yesterday you were saying now might be a good time to sell our homes before this changeover happens with the monetary system, right? So are you saying that because we're going to experience deflation?
We're going to experience a lot more than deflation. What do you think if 90 million people pass away? What's going to happen to the market? We're at the height of our market right now, and it ain't going to get any better. Okay, we're at the very top. In fact, I've been saying for about 4 months, sell by the end of June. There's a reason I'm saying that. I'm giving you a little hint. You'll get top dollar now. Now's a good time to sell. Okay? Hold on just a second. Does that kind of answer your question? Yeah. There's more than just an inflation bubble here. There's a lot more going on. Okay? There's the currency changeover. There's all kinds of changes that are going to happen. It's going to cause some turmoil. Okay? Some real turmoil.
Okay, so what if you own your own home and you still have to live somewhere? You rent or?
That's your choice, honey. It is your choice. You do still have to live somewhere. You own it. You own it outright. You know, if you can stand the loss, because property values are going to drop substantially. Oh, I mean, I look at it this way. There's a lot of these idiot millionaires that they're taking the vaccine. Their kids are taking the vaccine. Their grandkids are taking the vaccine, and pretty soon you're going to drive by their house and go and say, boy, that's been empty for a while. I think I'll just move in. I'll pay 7 years of property taxes in Oregon. I don't know what California's is. Could be 10 years. Who knows? Look up your adverse possession laws. I'll walk in and I'll pay 7 years of property taxes up front, and I own it.
Up front? As the creditor, right?
Yeah, I'll pay it right up front. I'll pay 7 years of property taxes up front, and I'll own that house. And then I'll put it in land patent so I don't have to pay property taxes ever again. But that covers the adverse possession laws. And I'm just going to look at it as a down payment on a new home without a mortgage. See?
That's a full payment on it.
Yeah, you see what I mean? Yeah. Adverse possession laws in every state. Adverse possession laws. That's a very good question, and don't let me forget yours, okay? Where did I do with my pen? I think it's this one. Okay, again, really quick. That ain't it. Here, I'm just going to throw that one down there so I don't pick it up again. How did you get it over here? Oh.
That was my bad. My bad.
Were you sure?
I'm positive. That was
Okay. Okay. All right, whatever. All right, we have debit and credits. This I'm talking about again under the Public Charitable Trust, the PCT. That's society's trust. That's a trust government issued when they formed this nation. The Public Charitable Trust. We as the public. Underneath that umbrella, there's 337 million CESTA QV trusts, individual trusts in our unique CUSIP number of our birth certificate. Then they just added a bunch of numbers with it that attach to it. Okay? This creates a balance sheet, debits and credits, just like any basic accounting balance sheet. Okay? I lied about my degrees. I actually have a degree in business with a major in economics, an MBA, and I used to do balance sheets all the time. So I do use it. Oh, gosh. Whew. Forgot all about that. Okay, so it's a balance sheet under your CESTA QV trust. Okay? At birth, you borrowed from the IMF, and I'm going to use between 1975 and 99, $1 million. You borrowed it. And you threw it over here into the public, out in the public, to all the banks. Got distributed from the IMF directly to the banks. Right? In your name, in your CUSIP number, your first loan. Yeah, I was what, May the 3rd versus April 20th?
3 days old.
Yeah, whatever. Doesn't matter. And on the credit side, they issued $1 million of U.S. Treasury bonds in your name, and they sold them and they invest them. They trade them, they bundle them, they hypothecate them on Wall Street, and they sell them. And it makes money, a lot of money. Then they insure this debt so that in case something happens to you before you're an earner, the bank gets paid back. Like FDIC insurance, but different. Okay? So here we have a balance sheet. It balances. You got a credit and you got a debit. You go out over your lifetime and you earn money and you start spending it. It doesn't matter what the numbers are. You just start spending and buying houses and cars and medical bills and utilities and whatever. And it adds up. It adds up to, say, $5 million over your lifetime. Now, to answer the bankruptcy question, if you declare bankruptcy in here, that gives the bankruptcy or probate judge, and they're usually one and the same, the opportunity to settle the estate. So let's just say halfway through your life you declare bankruptcy and it had $50 million in this account. They just come in and pay all this debt off, and it starts over right here with the $1 million balance. And then you keep living. You keep spending it and spending it and spending it, and this keeps growing and growing and growing. Pretty soon this is up there big time, and they receive your death certificate, and you go through probate again. You just went through a temporary probate halfway with bankruptcy. That's all you did. Now here's an advantage. How we used to access our trust was we had to go through a federal bankruptcy and probate judge to do it. So what difference does it make when? Bankrupted anyway. Go into the bankruptcy court as the creditor, as the executor of the estate, as the vessel, having claimed it, and demand that the bankruptcy judge pays off all the debts and you get access to your trust. You just administered your trust right in the middle. Right here. No, use chapter 7. Okay? Yeah, and now you got debt and probate. This is $95 million. And this is 0. Okay, go ahead.
So, say you have a vehicle for $50,000 and you stop making payments and they repossess your vehicle. Then you go to bankruptcy court. Then they access your Sister QV trust. Then do they pay the finance company? And then the finance company also sends your bill to collections, and they too try to, so they
try to get it again.
They don't get paid twice, so they sell it to the third party, and then they get paid, so they're not sweating.
Well, you can ask them for the invoice. No, they're not.
They get paid from the Sister QV trust.
They got paid right up front, huh?
They got paid right away.
Right up front. The day you signed the application, they got paid. Now that you're paying them again, and not only that, then they're taking your checks and they're creating notes and they're bundling them and selling them again. A bank gets paid an average of 10 times the money you borrow.
Okay, and
10 times. You borrow $100,000, they make $1 million off you.
Oh my God! And then so the collection company, they're just basically bottom feeders, and they're buying your debt and trying to charge you for something that's already been paid for.
Not only that, the collection companies not only are bottom feeders, but the collection companies are gamblers. They are betting you will pay. They're betting you don't know that they're not even allowed to collect the debt. What did I read about privity of contract yesterday? I love when you fume. Yeah, I love to watch people get pissed off. Because that's when they stand up and fight. My job's to piss you off. How many times did I say that last night? Right? I had this guy in the cowboy hat sitting in the front row in front of these two. And I'm up on stage last night. I'm like drawn to this guy. I can't hardly even look away. I start looking in the audience over here, and all of a sudden my eyes are right back on this guy. We got this connection going, right? Big, strong farm boy, man. Big, strong farm boy. And we got this connection going. And he's smiling real big, and his face and his neck are red. And he's going, yeah, yeah, as I'm talking. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was going. I loved watching him and his reactions. Okay.
Quick clarification, you're not saying that we become a state national, declare bankruptcy, and we get $50 million. That's not what you're saying.
No, I am not saying that. No. Whew. Oh, God. Help me. Look, if you got $50 million, what are you going to do with it? You're going to go put it in the bank at 1%? You're going to go invest in a mutual fund at 5 to 7% or maybe even 10? You're going to put it in a little gold and silver and make 10 or 20%? Well, some is nice. I like gold and silver. Okay. But are you going to take $50 million and go stick it into a bad investment? They're earning 44% average annual rate of return since 1933. They're good money managers. Leave it the hell there and just learn how to access it. Pay all your darn bills. Wouldn't it be nice to walk into a car dealership? I happen to like Chevy Silverado Duramax crew cab diesels. And they're about $75,000 a piece. Okay? Wouldn't it be nice to walk in there and pick yours out? Write down the VIN number. Hand them a PO of your Sesta trust number and say, put all this information on an invoice and give it to me. And then run down to Wells Fargo or wherever the hell it is you bank and walk in and say, send this uphill to somebody who knows what he's doing. Give it to the legal department at the main branch and get it paid. I've accepted it. I've stamped it, received, dated, time stamped it. I've accepted it, and I am the freaking king. And I put my seal on it, and I'm accessing my trust right now. And I just sign it in purple. And that way I don't have to fill out a loan application. I just sign my invoice. Get it paid. It's got a PO, my PO number on it. That's how you're supposed to access your trust. Okay? Purchase order.
So, David, do you create your own purchase orders with your...
I'm the king.
With your Sesta KP?
I'm the king. I do everything.
And you put your Sesta KP on it?
Sure, why not? I get a utility bill in the mail, I do the same thing. I stamp it received, accepted by my trust, sign my name to it, and mail it back. Now, the first time I did that, it didn't work. Why didn't it work? Because the idiot that received it didn't have a crystal ball. I had to educate them, and as soon as I educated them to send it uphill to the top of the food chain, to their corporate attorneys, it got paid, and it gets paid every month since.
So I have another question that maybe is silly, but on your stamps, you have one stamp that's in a box that has your name in it, right?
Did not you not see that yesterday or the day before?
My question is,
Yeah. That's just mainly for the rescission. This is the PDF files that I use. This is the true PDF. Those are all my old stamps. These are the PDF files I use. Nowadays, I just cut and paste. Saves the king time. And I just use these. See? You're welcome to look. Received. That's when I got the presentment.
Take a picture.
Right? That's when I got the presentment. Received. Date and time. Sign my name. That's when the clock starts. It says David Lester Straight, vessel by David Lester Straight, lowercase, upper and lowercase, executor. I am the executor of the vessel now. I'm the owner of the trust now. See? I control the trust of the Sesta QB. I'm making that claim. Now, I've already made the claim. I do an affidavit of claim of the Sesta QB trust, and I take it to the federal courthouse, the Federal Circuit Court, And I say, court clerk, make sure that this gets to the Department of Fiscal Services as soon as you've had it signed off by a federal probate judge.
There's a question over there. I don't like to yell. Anyway, so what's the point of going through the whole bankruptcy thing if you know how to go through the right process to access your...
One way or another, you got to go through a bankruptcy or probate judge, whether you do it by serving the papers at the federal court or whether you go into bankruptcy.
He's asking about, the reason would be to access your cash. Now, if you needed the cash, would be the reason to sell.
Well, the example was a business that had a bunch of debts in a corporation, okay, that kind of thing. This is not a one-shot fix-all deal, guys. If it were easy to unlearn everything you've learned your entire lifetime and start over with the correct information, that's one thing. But right now you got, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years of knowledge that was surrounded around being a debtor. You've got to learn how to surround your knowledge now as being a creditor and being free. See, it's one thing to be a debtor and be a slave. It's another to be a creditor and be free. And it's a whole new set of knowledge and a whole new set of procedures. And if it were easy, everybody would be doing it. But it confuses a lot of people. And I'm trying to make it as simple as I possibly can, my gosh. It is so hard. It took me 10 years to learn how to make it simple. I can remember when I first started, I was rattling things off very quick, and I was quoting the United States Code, and I was quoting this code and that code, and the same 20 people would show up next month. And 6 months later, every month. And there was nobody new coming. They couldn't even talk their family into it because their family, they go home, and they try and spew it out, and their family's going, you're fucking nuts. Yeah, you're just knucking futz. Okay. What? Oh, yeah, I'm going to get to that. How much time we got? All right.
What happens when the powers to be, let's talk cabal, whoever is running this whole get-up, decides, oh my gosh, 1 million people are sending in these things, clearing themselves, deciding they're free, accessing this trust that we set up to benefit us. What do you think they're going to do? Go, oh, that's okay, just let that go, and we've got the rest of them. No, they're going to say, okay, let's send out and round those people up and be done with it.
Hey, I accessed my trust from 1991 to 1999.
But you're
Hold on a minute. 1991 to 1999. Then Bill Clinton screwed me all up. And then from 1999 to 2010, lots of people who were accessing their trusts were trying to figure out a new way to do it because they kind of cut it off the way they were doing it. Okay? They used to give you a credit card on your trust, and it was basically like $1 million a day limit. Okay? Now, I think that's kind of stupid. I wouldn't spend $1 million a day, but it was a bunch. Okay? But it was only to be used for essential needs. And it said that on there. Guys went out and bought Corvettes and $250,000 motorhomes, and one guy I know bought a Learjet. They all went to jail. It's a trust. It's a beneficiary. Beneficiary can't do that, right? So, lots of people during the interim between 99 and 2010 were trying to figure out ways to access their trust, and this stupid people came out with the SV4 UCC1 program, and I started watching a whole bunch of, I was going, no, guys, don't do that, you're going to jail. And I was calling them on the phone 1.5 years before they went to jail. And they went to jail because I was telling them they were going to. They weren't listening. I like to keep people out of jail. I don't want anybody to go to jail. That's not a very nice place. Okay? So, the proper way to access your trust is acceptance and rescission. It's lawful. It's right. It works. You're just getting invoices for the things you need, and you're using them. And you're using your signature as a creditor, just as if you would have went to your mortgage company and signed a mortgage application. You lent the mortgage company the money out of your trust to give it back to you to buy a home. And then you made payments as their profit. All of it was their profit. And you paid for the house again. See, every Federal Reserve in the United States has written a book, Modern Money Mechanics by the Federal Reserve of Chicago. Every one of them has written a book. That's one of the better ones. A little hard to read, but when you read it, if you can comprehend it, it tells you how money works in this country. The Federal Reserve actually evil discloses things. That's a law of nature. They must disclose everything. I ain't telling you anything up here that's new. They've just disclosed it over and over and over again. All I'm trying to do is repeat it back to you in a simple form or method so you can learn it and understand it best I can. I'm just a man. I'm not perfect. No human being is perfect, boy. I screw up as much as anybody, but I don't like people going to jail. Okay? So I'm trying to tell you the way to access it is somewhere along the lines, hopefully before you die and pass away, you go through a probate and get all the previous debts of your life paid off. See, everything you've spent since you first had a dollar bill in your hand is legal freaking tender. The definition of tender is to tender it to a later date, to put it off. This does not discharge a debt. This is a loan from the IMF to the Public Charitable Trust, and I happen to have gathered a little bit of it. Now I go out and spend it. Okay? That's all it is. And it's kept track of. It's kept track of by the Department of Fiscal Services and the Internal Revenue Service through your tax returns. Your banks are keeping track of it, and who do they work for? All your banks are Federal Reserve banks.
What if the Federal Reserve's abolished? Then what happens to this whole gig? Because isn't that what Trump is trying to do, or did, or going to do?
Yeah, I know. I actually said it yesterday.
You said it about the Federal Reserve?
Yeah. I told you exactly what was going to happen. I said all of our new currency is at the armored car warehouses right now. Right. And as soon as the time is ready, they'll just deliver that to the banks. Probably on a Friday is my guess. And they'll take all the money that's in the bank and they'll put it in the armored cars and they'll take it to their warehouse and they'll transfer it into semi-trucks and they will drive to New York City. And they will drive to the International Monetary Fund at the Council of Foreign Relations. And they will empty semi after semi after semi after semi after semi of cash. And President Trump will say, here, pay off all the debts of America. Everybody's mortgage, everything. Here's the payment on your debt. He already used their stinking fiat currency to purchase the gold to refill our depositories. Why not use their money to do that ahead of time? So he did it ahead of time.
So then this whole scheme will be done.
Well,
if it's paid in full by Trump with his semi-truck.
Absolutely, because if we can access our accounts, what do we need this system for? What do we need the IRS for? He said on national TV that he wanted to abolish the IRS, the IMF, the Council on Foreign Relations. He wants to abolish the pharmaceutical companies and the AMA. I mean, I named them off right there in the Declaration of Independence, a whole bunch of things he wanted to get rid of. Okay? Lots of hands, man. Go ahead.
I have a two-part question. On behalf of families, for what's coming, other than becoming sovereign and taking care of our kids, getting that in line, what would you suggest to set our families up for what's coming? Not vaccinating, the things we've covered. What have you not covered to set them up to be prepared?
I've covered everything to set you up. Form a corporation. Take dominion over your jurisdictions. I know I've covered a ton of stuff and your minds are all boggled. This is why people come to more than one seminar. So I can go more in depth, more in depth, more in depth all the time. And you can hear it again and again and again until you get it. Okay? And I don't expect you all to learn it in 3 days. It took me 35 years to learn it. Okay?
Do we have time for that? Do we have time to do all that?
Keep learning.
Look, this is why on my thumb drive I do the step ones. Step ones is steps to freedom. You do those things first. Status is everything. Standing, jurisdiction, dominion. How you create standing is take dominion of your jurisdictions. That's it. That creates your standing. Once you have this, the rest will come. Go to the next step. But maybe by then, we'll be lucky enough that enough people have done this that all the dominoes get kicked over and we won't have to. But don't look at it like that now. What does Christ say? God helps those that help themselves, right?
Let me say something. So, obviously, there's lots of questions and a lot of work to do. What we're going to do is on June 23rd, which is not next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after, right here in this room, we're going to begin a class. It'll go from 7 to 8:30 every Wednesday. We'll be in touch with David and the people he refers us to, and we'll begin to walk through this whole process, all right? So also, Christo is willing to help, but you're not going to be alone floundering out there. We'll do everything we can to get the best information. We also purchased his thumb drive, and so everything that we can do to help you in this regard, we'll do on Wednesday nights right here in this class, beginning on June 23rd. All right?
Will you Zoom it for those of us that don't live here?
Hey.
Yeah, we can Zoom it.
Yeah.
Or live stream it.
And hold on a second. We've got groups in Southern Oregon. We've got groups in Northern Oregon. We've got groups in Washington State. We've got groups in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. We've got groups in Utah. We've got groups in Pennsylvania and Texas. We've got groups all over the place that are helping people just like you who came to a seminar just like this. And it's up to you. You guys form your groups in all your cities where you live. If you don't have enough people, get some people there. I'll come see you. And we'll do another one in your city. Whatever it takes, we've got to do this. This is critical for change.
That's right.
There is nothing more important than what I've been teaching you this weekend. And I'm not the one saying that. I've been told to work as hard as I can, to do as much as I can, to go as many places as I can. So I'm home on Tuesdays. Okay? I travel on Mondays, I travel on Wednesdays, I'm home on Tuesdays. I'm somewhere every weekend like this. I'm working as tirelessly as I can. So... Yes.
Maybe you explained it before, maybe it went through my dense brain, as far as getting a video of what has gone on here is, and it's online, maybe on
freedomco.net.
It's freedomco.net.
Right there, freedomco.net.
Okay, there you go.
And Dave, you said yesterday that the class, the weekly, is open to anyone, right? You don't have to come to this class, so we can invite our family, our friends to come with us to do this work.
Yeah, if they've got some kind of understanding. Your job is to go home and teach them as much as you can.
I already played the seminar from Utah. That was on the phone drive for my dad last night.
Awesome. All right. Well, hold on. What time are we ending? 4:30. Okay, I got to answer his question, so I'll take one more, then I'm going to go back to that, okay? He's chomping the bit. Look at him shake. Okay.
I was curious when you were talking just a minute ago about President Trump, paying off all our mortgages and all that stuff. Why should we sell before the end of June in what you were suggesting if that's going to happen at some point in time?
Well, if you like living where you're living, that might happen. I'm proactive at everything, right? I'm proactive at everything. And I figure I can sell my property. I don't know what your home's worth, but let's just say it's worth $1 million. And she sells it and she sticks $1 million in a safety deposit box at the bank. And now, because knowing what she knows, she can look up the laws on adverse possession and she can pick out her next mansion and use just a tiny bit of that little cash and go pay 7 years of property taxes and walk in and own it. And now you've got that to live on the rest of your life. I just set you up for life. And that's if everything goes to hell in a handbasket and maybe we don't win the war. We win the war. I'm teasing you. But I'm a guy, I'm a warrior. I prepare for the worst. I have plan A, plan B, plan C, and plan D. I know my enemies. I know what weapons they have and what beaches they're fighting on. So I plan for the worst and I hope for the best. And I press forward and I burn the bridge. And that's how I live. Okay? Yeah. One of our famous generals said that. He says, we're going in, boys. Blow the bridge behind us. We'll worry about crossing when we get back. Yeah. In other words, we don't quit. That's what it meant. We ain't quitting. Right up to the last man standing. You know what the problem with that is? You guys put time limits on it. Time limits will kill you. Don't put dates on stuff. Don't call President Trump and tell him on January 17th, if you don't have it handled by then, give me immunity because I'm taking care of it. I learned my lesson. Don't do that.
Is there a way to see how much is in our SQV?
Yeah. It's not easy. You're going to have to make friends with a Security 7 licensed agent so he can find your main number because the government likes to hide those from you. Take in all your numbers, your driver's license number, your college number, your birth certificate, take it all to them and say, here, find my SESTA-QV number. Now, some of them are going to go, what the hell you want that for? See, they've been trained too. So you better make friends with them. They used to make it easy. In fact, we even wrote a book, 2020, CUSUP for Dummies 2020. The minute we wrote that book to show you how to look it up on Fidelity.com, Fidelity changed their website. The day we printed it. Any coincidence? Yeah, 2020 for Dummies. And CUSUP for Dummies 2020 is what it was called. And Fidelity.com changed their website. See, Fidelity.com controls all that information. That's where your Series 7 licensed guy is going to have to go to look it up. It used to be under the delayed bond lookup. And now I can't even find the words delayed bond lookup on their website. So anyway, All right, you guys got that? We're done with that. Going to passport. Okay. It's your CUSIP number, CUSIP. All right. We got to get out of here pretty quick, okay? So as far as the passport goes, your question was how you go get it?
Yes.
All right. Some people are successful using a transfer agent. That's called a post office. You just look like a criminal. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Oh, gosh. No. Look, don't go to the post office. You need to go look the person in the eye who's issuing the passport. Oh, God. I've done that before. Well, that's where they issue them close by. They issue them in Seattle, they issue them in San Francisco, they issue them in LA, San Diego, lots of places across the country. Denver, Dallas, Houston, lots of places, Chicago. So there's all these places across the country. Now, lots of state nationals have come from the Pacific Northwest, and we all go to Seattle. Seattle's easy to work with because of that, because we've already educated our public servants there. So about a year and a half ago, I took a friend of mine, Gary Darby, to San Francisco on my way back from the Biltmore in San Jose. Yeah, I put on one of these in the heart of Silicon Valley, right next to Facebook campus and Google campus, right in the middle. That was a trip. Yeah. Had about twice as many people in the room, too, and it was interesting. Boy, did they have questions. I think you guys have questions. No, they have questions. Anyway, they all want to access their trust right now. Bunch of greedy people. Okay. So if you follow my steps to freedom, it actually tells you what words to use when you get there. See, the trick is you got to get 2 photographs. Then it says you need a couple of pieces of ID. You use your driver's license or any other contractual agreement with the government, I'm going to kick your ass. Don't use those as ID. Look under alternate ID, and you can have somebody who's known you for a long time swear out an affidavit, and they sign it right in front of them, so you got to drag them with you. Okay? Yeah. See? What's that? This is U.S. We're talking about U.S. So what's the time length that they need to know you? Sign that affidavit. Here's what I'm going to tell you. 7 minutes?
7 years.
Oh, 7.
Thank you.
I gotta qualify what he's saying. All right, 7 years. All right, read the instruction manual that goes along with the DS-11. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to the State Department's website. You're going to download the DS-11. You're going to have it in front of you. Okay? Download it, print it off, have it in front of you. Download their instructions so you can see what kind of alternate ID, but don't use their instructions to fill it out. You're going to go to coppermoonshinestills.com. Yeah, he's been doing this a long time, and he builds a lot of beautiful copper moonshine stills. Yeah, they are beautiful.
Can I ask you a question about him? I went to his website.
Good.
It says state citizen. He uses that term a lot.
Don't use that term. See, there are things he doesn't know. Okay. coppermoonshinestills.com, and just follow have it on your computer, have the DS11 on your desk, and fill it out the way he tells you to fill it out. Because he's right and he updates it all the time. I've been doing this with him for years, and it's worked. So that tells you how to fill it out. Now you take your 2 pictures and your 2 alternate pieces of ID, okay? And you're going to have to set an appointment with the State Department office, passport office. Now, COVID has made things a little bit stupid, all right? And a lot of them aren't taking appointments. However, there's always a way to skin a cat. I had a guy in Wyoming call his senator in Wyoming who called the Denver office while he was standing at the front door and they were telling him no. He called them, handed him the phone. Senator says, get him his passport. The senator of Wyoming told the Denver office, State Department, to give this guy his passport. Come right on upstairs, sir. Yeah, it's a pretty good one. The legislative boss is actually helping you, right?
You said 2 alternate forms of ID. So if you have the affidavit that somebody who you take with you to confirm.
They have to sign it in front of the agency.
What's the second alternate ID?
Read what it says on the instruction manual under alternate IDs. They list a whole, they say you can use this or this or this, or you can use this or this or this, or here's some alternate IDs and you can use this, 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 or this. Go to alternate IDs, pick 2. I don't care which ones. Pick 2. All right, got that? All right, coppermoonshinestills.com, fill it out the way he says. You walk up to the counter, you're going to have to explain yourself twice. Most people incriminate themselves, say what I tell you to say, and shut up. Okay? So first, in order to get the appointment, you should make a reservation in Mexico. You can cancel it later. But I'm going to be traveling to Mexico, down to Puerto Vallarta, and sit in the beach. And now you qualify for, and do it within 10 to 14 days of the appointment. And now it's an expedited passport. You want the expedited passport service. Is the only way you're going to get in front of a passport agent. Period. This is the only way you're going to get in front of them. When you walk out the door with your passport, if you don't want to go to Mexico, cancel it. But you got to walk in with your itinerary for your trip. Yes, you do. You got to prove what you said you're going to do, right? Now, when you walk up to the counter, you're going to take your affidavit of repudiation with you. And it has been recorded by the county by now, and it's got the mail label 200 by now, and it's already signed with a notary, and it's already been sent, and it's got the certified proof of service and the certified judgment of unrebutted affidavit, and it's one document now. Okay?
Wait for it to come back. That's the judgment, right?
You have to follow the process. Okay? No easy way around this. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. People that aren't willing to put in the effort don't get the job done. Okay, so you do this, and you go up to the counter, and you say, here's my 2 photographs that's required. Here's my application properly filled out. Here's my 2 pieces of ID, and here's my affidavit of repudiation. This repudiated my citizenship and declared my status as defined by the federal government in Title 8, Section 1101A21 as a state national. Please issue me a passport that reflects that status. Oh, here's my fee too, and my itinerary. I forgot those 2. That's my fault. Anyway, you do that. Please, and that's all the words you say. Now he's going to look at that, especially in San Francisco, and go, I got to go get a supervisor. And you're going to do it all over again. So practice in front of the mirror in the bathroom. Here's my 2 photographs, my itinerary, and my, what did I say? My 2 alternate pieces of ID, my DS-11, and here's my affidavit of repudiation that repudiates my citizenship and declares my status as defined by the United States government in Title 8, Section 1101A21. Please issue me a passport that reflects that status. And then shut up all over again. Now he looks at you, he looks at that, he looks through all your paperwork, your affidavit. He's going to go in the back room, he's going to make a photocopy of your affidavit. And he's going to say, come back at 3:30 and pick it up. And you have to stand firmly upon your rights and insist that they issue a passport. Now I even go a step further. When I get back there at 3:30, and he says, here's your passport, here's this, swear out your little oath thingy, I'm going to say, does that passport reflect the status that I asked you to up front? However you want to say it. I said that really poorly just now. Okay. But you get my drift. Say it eloquently. Does that passport reflect the status of which I am, which I requested? Thank you. That's good. I couldn't pull that word out of my rear for nothing. Okay. Oh, God. We got to have fun. Got to have fun doing this. All right. And then you get your passport and you go home and you think just the affidavit feels good, honey. Wait till you have that passport in your hand. Yeah, and then more free.
You start making $400,000 a year with speed tickets, right?
Well, that would be a lot of stops. There's other things that can make you money too that way. So there's all kinds of things you can do. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, you are more than welcome. Yes, it's called Steps to Freedom. What I do on that Steps to Freedom, you'll notice the very last number says claim the estate. I'm not going to tell you how to do that until you do the first 9 steps. Yeah. Go right ahead. Stand up. Don't be shy. You're past your 8th birthday, aren't you? Yeah.
How long does that passport last?
10 years.
What are we looking at? Because I would want to verify my passport before I walk out the door. What am I looking at on the passport to make sure that...
Nothing. Nothing. Nothing's going to look different at all under the last 3 Secretary of States. Every Secretary of State can decide their own policy. And the last 3 Secretaries of States said, it doesn't really matter what the passport has written in it. It's how the information in the barcode. Because all your airports and what have you all just scan your barcode. The police can scan the barcode right in their car. Okay, so they just scan the barcode. I've sat in the front seat, passenger seat of a police car and scanned the barcode while the officer was watching me scan it on his computer. He didn't like that very much, but I don't care. So.
Just an announcement, there's a woman named Jackie Fig, have you heard of her? She takes groups down to San Diego where she has the best luck getting, and she helps walk people through getting the passports. So her name is Jackie Fig.
Yep.
And even with all her knowledge and everything she's done, she still has people who make some little mistake or somehow freak out the person. And so she gets maybe, I would say 90%, but there's always 1 or 2 who don't get their passport. And then they pay the money, they do everything, but then somehow
Don't get it.
they don't get it. And then they don't get their money back. I have a friend who went down there.
Yeah.
Oh, there was one little mistake, so he's got to go through the whole process again, and he lost his money.
I got a guy that went to Denver office 3 times. paid his money 3 times before he finally got it, but he didn't give up. Yeah. And it's $230-something last time I checked.
Well, if we have a valid passport, can't they just put a new barcode on it?
Nope. Nope. This is a whole new status. Just lose it. Hold on. Shh.
I was looking at the thumb drive last night, and I was talking to someone here. Getting a passport has nothing to do with proving your who you are before the formation of the government. It's something like native patent.
No, that's the patent and nativity on there.
Oh yeah, patent and nativity.
Patent and nativity helps to prove your intent. It helps to grandfather you in prior to government. Okay, the passport. The Constitution of the United States says to be safe in your papers and your protection. To be safe in your papers and your protection, you are either operating in the private or you're operating in commerce. Your driver's license protects you and shows you everything you need to operate in commerce. The problem is most of the time you're operating in the private and you're using that. You're using the wrong ID. Your passport is your protection for operating in the private right to travel. I was on the phone for 4 hours with the State Department in Washington, D.C. 4 hours. I says, ma'am, I'm going to ask you some questions, and I'm going to record you, and it's not for any nefarious reasons. It's just simply because I'm teaching this stuff, and I really want to hear it from you, the State Department, so that you can help me teach it properly and correctly. See how I approach that? Now you catch a lot more flies with honey sometimes. So I get this girl on the line, and I'm talking to her, and I said, ma'am, I really want you to help me explain passports. I'm teaching this stuff. I want to know passports. What does a passport allow me to do? And she says, well, sir, it allows you to travel anywhere in the world, in any United Nations nation, or any nation that we're not at war with. And I said, well, that's awesome. That's cool. I can say that to my people. I says, does it specify the means of travel? If I want to travel by skateboard or walk down the sidewalk on my feet or ride a horse or a buggy or a motorcycle or a car or a boat or a plane or a train or any other form of transportation that I can think of? Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it does. That's your identification when you're traveling in private. Thank you very much. Those were the 2 main questions that I needed answered. The rest was just fluff. But that alone is all you need to know. That you can drive an automobile anywhere. I asked her questions like, can you drive it across state lines? And then I said, well, what do you need a driver's license for then if this allows me to travel in private upon the highways anywhere I want to go? No, she answered the question. She says you need it if you're hauling passengers for hire, if you're a public servant in the performance of your public duties, or if you are hauling goods or services for interstate commerce. In other words, a truck driver, a bus driver, an Uber driver, a police officer, a fire engine. See, isn't that fun? What's that? Everything is. Do you know you can go to the United States Department of Transportation, the U.S. Department of Transportation, and order plates you can put on your car that's U.S. plates that allow you to travel and they never need renewed and you don't have to pay those really expensive California plate fees? Oh, wait, I shouldn't have said all that. Teaser! This teaser! I would. Man, get rid of him for... No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No. Just separate from the state. Get married right. This man's going to start marrying people right. I know that after yesterday. Okay? He's going to start kicking people to the curb, and he's going to create a lot of righteous change in America for doing that. It's probably one of the single most important things we can do. All right.
What about insurance problems? California, you get in a wreck.
You better be insured.
But without a driver's license, the insurance company won't insure you.
Look, it's not about whether you have a driver's license or not. You can have a driver's license to operate in commerce, and if you never operate in commerce, you just never show it to the cop.
So you don't have to surrender?
No. No. You can repudiate it. See, one is for operating in commerce and one's for operating in the private. And if you're just getting up in the morning, going to the grocery store, going to work, coming home, stopping by, getting a pizza, and picking up a... Nobody picks up movies. Ben owns the last Blockbuster. And my adopted son stars in the movie.
So I'm not sure I follow you. Because if you go down to AAA, you own a car, you go down to AAA or whatever company, Farmers, the first thing they say is, let me see your driver's license. And if you can't show it to them, they will not insure you.
And I'm telling you to show it to them. It's when you use it. If you're going to hang an Uber sign on the side of your car and haul passengers around, you're going to need a driver's license. If I haul hay, I got a farm. I haul 30, 40 tons of hay in e-commerce. My truck weighs more than 26,000 pounds when it's loaded with 20, 30 tons of hay. I got to have a driver's license. Okay? In fact, I got a CDL. Who cares? I only use it when I'm doing that. I will never hand a police officer my driver's license. I will hand them these. These are the only documents I use while I'm traveling, your officer. Why would you have a registration if you got an MCO? I'll hand them my MCO. Now the state has no authority over my vehicle whatsoever.
So I got pulled over recently in Nevada. Oh, I'm so sorry, darling. You first.
Well, I have a passport question, so we can go back.
Okay.
So this is kind of interesting. I got pulled over and got a ticket, and I tried my new language before I was a free woman, and he really warns against that. Like, you don't want to play between jurisdictions. Right. And then, but when I got pulled over, the officer read the VIN number on my rental car, and he came back and he's like, "Well, I can't do anything with this." And I was like, "Well, why not?" And he says, "Well, it's in trust. So when it's in trust, they can't pull your car. And they can't tow it because it's in trust." So his hands were tied. He could not, he couldn't get the vehicle from me. So that was just kind of a neat note I wanted to add. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you.
So if you own it outright and you put it into trust, they can't touch you.
But you need the MSO first.
Yes, that's correct. So the trust is part two after the MSO. Manufacturers.
An MCO is a manufacturer's certificate of origin, and MSO is a manufacturer's statement of origin. It depends on which manufacturer you have. If you've got Chrysler, Dodge, Ford, it's going to be an MCO. If you've got a Volvo, it's an MSO. Okay? Well, I don't know. Those Japanese. No, I'm kidding. Here's how I handle it. Here's how I handle it. I just put them both together with a hyphen. Okay, now, who was the first car insurance company in America? Travelers. Why? Because we're travelers. See, it wasn't until about 1935 when this whole system of fraud was created. that they issued driver's licenses. Nobody had one prior to then, and there were a lot of cars on the road by 1935. A lot of Model T Fords. I remember my dad had a Model B. It's one of the first ones that Ford painted yellow. Everything was black before that year. Okay.
So regarding passports, we have two daughters that are under 8. So they have slave passports then until they turn 8 and then they get to go through?
No. See, when you have kids under 8, they're already born, it's not born in the future, you've already got them, you're just kind of stuck with them. When you do your affidavit of repudiation, include your children in there as your private God-given gifts, your property. They're yours. Include them in your affidavit of repudiation. Okay? You make the decision for your children, but till they reach the age of accountability, then they can make their own decision. Okay?
So they get a free state national passport as well. What does that do for vaccines?
It's your job to determine their status until they're 8. It's their job to determine it after age 8.
So my daughter's...
Don't do it. Just stop. It's like drugs. Just say no. I'm teasing you.
But they've never been to a hospital or to a doctor. But for traveling, they'll say you have to have the vaccine to come to the country. And so,
Well, I would wait to go to other countries. I've got 3 groups in Hawaii right now, one on the Big Island, one on Maui, and one on Oahu, that want me to come do seminars. And I said, well, we might have to wait till fall because I ain't going right now. Sometimes you got to make a choice. See, Hawaii and Alaska are United Nations nations. And they've got their all vaccine travel things that you have to do right now.
They'll put you on the news like you're a criminal if you don't quarantine for 14 days. If you go to 7-Eleven and you get caught, your face is plastered everywhere like you're a terrorist. It's horrible. It's horrible.
So if your child is above 8, you do an affidavit of repudiation for her specifically?
Yeah. Have her sign it. Have it notarized. She doesn't have to be an adult. What you do is, instead of you say, I, her name, over an adult over the age of 18, like most affidavits, what you do is you qualify that. Okay? I, her name, having reached the age of accountability of 8 years old and having my parent present who is over 18, named blah, 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 in your name. That's how you do the affidavit to help her out. There's always a way to skin a cat. Reagan.
I have a question about passports. What if someone was born in one of those states, Hawaii, Alaska, or Louisiana? Does that affect getting does that affect the process differently?
You don't have to worry about Louisiana. They got a reciprocal agreement. Alaska and Hawaii, no, it doesn't as far as the U.S. State Department concerns. It's all under treaty. There's this treaty anyway.
So if someone was born in Hawaii or Alaska?
Yeah. I mean, oh my gosh. There's always one that complicates everything. I love her. Yeah, there is some complications. Okay, you got to figure it out, what it is there. Young children are tough. Okay, anybody over 18, all of us in the room, pretty much, almost all of us. How old are you? 14. All but one in the room. 2. Where'd the other one go? Oh, hi. You were just hiding over there, huh? Being really quiet, not saying a word. How old are you? You know, you two are my favorite people in the room. You know why? because I wish I learned it at that age. I wish it didn't take me 35 years of mistakes to learn it. Man, they get started now, and their life's going to be cool. It'll be cool. All right. Where was I? Because we're essentially done, past time. Okay. One more question. How's that? You're the lucky draw.
Okay, just a quick one with word diction. I was noticing, we went through our birth certificates last night, and I was all excited. And I noticed it says parent or other informant, which says to me parent, seems to me they're sticking in that category. Is parent also?
No, they threw that in there about 20 years ago because we started learning this crap, and they try and mess with your mind a little bit. Right, right. And that's what they did. They just mess with your mind. They're all informants. Yeah. So, okay.